my dear students. Welcome to Civics online session for 8th standard. Today's topic human rights and UNO. Right? First one, human rights. What are human rights? Human rights are inherent to all human beings regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language and religion. Okay? Human rights include freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression and fair trial, the right to life, work and education. Okay? Where do human rights come from? A set of basic rights and freedoms has deep roots in European and American countries. Here, written precursors of human rights documents. First one, the Magna Carta of 1215, England, gave people a new rights and made the king subject to the law. Next, the Petitions of Right 1628 set out the rights of the people. The Magna Carta, meaning the Great Charter, is one of the most famous documents in the world. The Magna Carta. Okay. Next one, the Habeas Corpus Act of 1679, an act for the better securing liberty of the subjects. The English Bill of Rights of 8689 set out certain basic civil rights. Next one, the French Declarations on the Rights of Man and Citizen 1789, a document of France stating that all citizens are equal under the law. Next, we will learn about the Treaties of United Nations. The idea of human rights emerged stronger after the Second World War. People wanted to ensure that never again would anyone be rationality. The Cyrus reigned 539 BC. Cyrus the Great, the first king of ancient Persia, freed the slaves and declared that all people had the right to choose their own religion and established racial equality. Okay? It is translated into all 6 official languages of the United Nations and the provisions parallel the first 4 articles of the Universal Declarations of Human Rights. Next, we will learn about human rights are based on the values of the Universal Declarations of Human Rights. The UN established a Commission of Human Rights. The Commission, guided by Franklin Roosevelt, right? It is a milestone document in the history of human rights. Next, we studied about human rights are based on the values of dignity, justice, equality. Basic characteristics of human rights. Basic characteristics of human rights: inherent, fundamental, then inalienable, indivisible, universal, independent. Okay. First one, inherent. They are not granted by any persons or authority. Fundamental. They are fundamental rights because without them, their life and the dignity of man will be meaningless. Inalienable. They cannot be taken away from the individual. Right? Indivisible. They can't be denied even when other rights have already been enjoyed. Independent. They are independent because the fulfillment or exercise of one human right cannot be had without the realizations of the another. Now we studied about kinds of human rights. There are 30 articles incorporated in the Universal Declarations of Human Rights. First one, civil rights. The term civil rights refers to the basic rights afforded by laws of the government to every person. It includes the rights to life, liberty, freedom from slavery and arbitrary arrest. Second one, politic rights. The political rights are exercised in the formation and administrations of a government. The civil and political rights are directly related to the modern democracy. It includes the freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, the right to take part in the government of one's country. Next one, social rights. It is necessary for an individual to fully participate into the society. Social rights are those rights necessary for adequate standard of living, the right to education, health care, food, clothing, shelter and social security. Next one, economic rights. The right to participate in the economic that benefits all and to the desirable work. These include the rights to employment and the fair wage, the reasonable limitations of working hours, shelter, education and adequate standard of living and the right to property. Last one, cultural rights. The right of freedom of religion and speak the language and to the practice, the cultural life of the community, the right to share in scientific advancement. Okay? Now we'll learn about the difference between human rights and civil rights. Right? Human rights belong to everyone, everywhere, records to nationality, sexuality, gender, race, religion or age. Civil rights are those rights that one enjoys by virtue of citizenship in a particular nation or state. Human rights are considered universal to all human beings and universal in all countries. Civil rights are very greatly from country to country or government to government. Okay? No nation may rightfully deprive human rights to one individual. Civil rights, different nations can grant or deny different civil rights and liberties. Okay? Thank you, my dears. Save the video and note it. Okay? Thank you, my dears. Be safe, take care. We will meet next session. Okay? Right.